Hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar on sales automation. I'm Steph Locke, I'm the presenter today. I run Nightingale HQ and we help businesses get AI ready. So today is not quite a whistle-stop tour, but a quick overview about what automation and artificial intelligence are, how they can benefit primarily the sales functions, but also marketing inside businesses. I am thinking mostly in a business-to-business context in this presentation. We're going to look at CRMs, customer relationship management tools, and what automation and AI is available in those. And then we will wrap up with what should you be thinking about next. First up, what is automation? Automation is using a system to perform specific tasks. So you will specify what should happen and the system performs those steps. Inside a sales context, that might be send an introductory email, and if there is no response inside 3 days, send a follow-up email. Automation doesn't just need to have a single outcome. You can make it flexible to handle different scenarios. So in the case of the automation of send an intro and 3 days later, if they haven't responded, send a follow-up, you can also plug in what to do if there has been a response. You could send them a connection request on LinkedIn, or you could set a task to make sure that you reply to the email. When we're talking about automation, we're not talking about simple robots just performing tasks without human supervision. Automated processes can and should, where relevant, include human steps. These can range from approval, a verification step, data input or quality check, and a reconciliation or verification at the end. So automation isn't about doing anybody out of a job, but it's about using tools to focus where people spend their time by helping them remove the bits that computers are very good at, which is following instructions. You probably hear a lot about AI, and by AI, I mean artificial intelligence. But really, what do we mean when we're talking about AI? And for a non-techie, what's the implications? So AI, artificial intelligence, differs from standard software that we might use because it is intended to perform cognitive tasks. Usually when we do things like automation, we're able to say, take this piece of information, use this very well-defined transformation, and then put it over there. But as humans, we deal with the it depends things, the bits that rely on sight or taste or interactions and understanding language. So for these types of tasks, we've typically been very reliant on humans, but putting humans into unsafe positions and environments, expecting a person to perform cognitive tasks at a very large scale doesn't really work. It's not suitable. So AI helps us do tasks like has some subset like machine learning. Machine learning is simply the taking of lots of data and bringing that down into a set of rules to describe what impacts something like whether you will make a sale. As humans, we go through the same process. We spend lots of time on the phone trying out different things, see what works. We learn about our customers, and over time we gain some expertise that helps us predict whether a customer or potential customer is a good lead or not. But that knowledge is born over lots and lots of cases. And with salespeople changing jobs and moving around, changing positions, the technology changing, it becomes very difficult for an organization to retain what kind of customers are best for them. Machine learning can help that company retain some of that knowledge and enable new salespeople to get up to speed more quickly. It performs tasks around understanding text, voice, and images, whether that's a whiteboard or a minutes from a meeting, from a call to see how somebody was feeling during the call, or a news report and understanding what it's about. AI can consolidate information and process data to help us arrive at conclusions more quickly. And then finally, AI can help us with interactions. So you've all probably used some chatbots, some good, some bad, some that make you want to tear your hair out, but being able to provide answers and deal with some of the fuzziness of things like typos and different terminology is a great way to help potential and existing customers find out information without needing to consume valuable salespeople's time. So there's lots of different areas of AI, and all of these have their place in supporting the sales and marketing functions. So where do automation and artificial intelligence fit inside sales and marketing processes? For sales, there's some key things that apply across the function. Segmentation, so who are your best customers, who are your kind of low volume, high value customers, your high volume, low value customers, and so on. Attribution, where did the sale come from? What channels did it go through? What kind of commission splits need to occur as a result? Chatbots to pre-qualify leads before you even see them. Across the business, process automation allows you to stitch different parts of your systems together, allows you to schedule meetings and things like that. And productive meetings, things like these live subtitles and meeting recordings that are searchable enable you to have better interactions with your customers. So on the prospecting side, automation and AI can help with lead generation by, for instance, performing web scraping where you are legally allowed to, by processing data that's coming in through social media and other sources, by analyzing the way people speak. We can use AI to suggest approaches for how you communicate with them. Are they a straight talker, or do they like kind of a more roundabout approach? Are they family oriented, or do they just want you to get straight to talking about career progression opportunities for them? AI helps us make those approaches better, and if we nail the approach, we increase our chance of converting that lead. Automation can help us personalize things like emails so that we don't have to spend time crafting the basics. We can score leads both based on our past experience as experts, but also based on the past data inside the company, and with some of the bigger CRM solutions can actually use the kind of standard, the blended experience of many companies to build up that viewpoint. We can use automation to keep an eye out for when there are problems or potential problems with relationships. So we can use it to reduce the amount of time that we necessarily need to spend on managing accounts. Automation can help us speed up quote production and proposal generation so that you have to spend less time putting things together. With the use of data, we can start looking at what the appropriate balance of discounts and commissions are to help us better price our products and services. On the analytics side, we all want to know how much money is going to be in the bank at the end of the month. We want to know how many deals we're going to close and what size. And instead of every salesperson sitting down and going, this one has a 40% chance, but not really kind of knowing whether it's a 35 or a 50% chance, I'm just going to pick a number. When we're trying to guesstimate what leads are going to convert, it makes forecasting commissions and follow-on resources really difficult for the organization. So with automated and AI supported forecasting, we can get a better view as to what our pipeline is looking like and what its month-end result is going to be. Automation can help us aggregate data from many different sources like LinkedIn, CRM, business applications, Companies House, and other places, and combine that to provide a single view of a prospect or an existing account. And we can use the AI capabilities to do things like speech to text to help us analyze how our calls are working and which statements, pain points, and messages actually work the best. So we can use it to help improve and coach our sales experience to really make a difference. Less of a focus today, but many of the areas that automation can help with can also help with marketing. So if you're in a kind of a cross-functional sales and marketing team, know that automation can really be of benefit for doing things like social listening and social selling to start bringing funnels of consumer and businesses into your sales team in a warmed up way to increase conversion and help you gain more insight into them before they land on your desk so that you can do a better job at selling. We have a AI for Marketers webinar that is available on YouTube. Now, if you want to look into this marketing space, you can, I would highly recommend you follow up with that webinar. So we use automation for all sorts of things. We've got our CRM solution, but I wanted to just throw out share with you something that is quite easy to get started with, and that is a little bit of social listening. So Ruth, our sales and commercial director, is also the person responsible for a lot of our marketing. She's got to balance time with hunting down leads and trying to grow our brand reputation. Many salespeople are often in that similar position where they have to do some lead generation and appetite building exercises as well. So to help Ruth do things more quickly and save her having to be scrolling on Twitter all day looking out for relevant journalists to hit up, there is a great journalism hashtag, journo request, which journalists use to say, hey, we need sources. So we have a social listening tool using technology called Power Apps and Power Automate that listens out for whenever somebody tweets with journal request, checks to make sure it's not a pharmaceutical company selling their latest goods, and then sends Ruth an email. This means that Ruth can get involved really quickly and we can be that source of authority without needing to spend all day trying to find these leads. And of course, we're doing it for a specific hashtag, but this kind of technique can work for any sort of topic that you might be looking for. If you can put a set of terms to it, you can use automation to start filtering social media for what is relevant to your business. And on the AI side, we were talking about chatbots earlier. Mia Hatton, owner and co-founder of Letterbox Lab, which is a science communication subscription box for kids, so experiments through the post, all safe, not going to burn your house down. As you can imagine, during COVID-19, with kids at home, more entertainment for kids was required. So they were in a very difficult position where their demand actually doubled or so overnight, but they couldn't get a socially distanced warehouse to be able to produce enough kits for that kind of situation. So an FAQ bot in that space helped potential and current customers be able to query what's happening, what sort of wait times they could expect, without needing to take Mia or Brian's valuable time away from their job to be able to do this. You can also use chatbots not just to answer questions at that kind of consideration stage, but you can also use chatbots to qualify leads to help you appropriately route them through your sales process. A lot of these tools, a lot of the things that you can do with automation and AI belong in your CRM. So your customer relationship management tool is where hopefully you are keeping track of your potential and current customers to make sure that you don't miss anything from your inbox. Having a CRM is a really vital step in becoming a smarter sales team that is supported by technology. You cannot share data amongst yourselves with different teams and different systems when that data is kept in your inbox, or maybe you all maintain different spreadsheets. A customer relationship management tool is the way to consolidate the data. The great thing is as well, it helps you maintain your GDPR compliance. You can do things like emails and marketing through it, and you can integrate customer service approaches. If you take nothing else away from this session, if you're involved in business-to-business sales in any way, whether you're a solo consultant or a big sales team, if you're lacking a CRM solution, that is the first thing that you should be solving, because I can guarantee that right now you are losing out leads. They're falling away because you're forgetting to reply to them or because they didn't go into the right pot. You need CRM solutions. So what CRM solutions are there that involve automation or AI? So Salesforce was the first online CRM system. It's a great piece of kit. It is very well adopted, and it is kind of the #1 CRM out there. It is, and the next one is quite similar as well, that they do tend to need usually a bit of consultant's time to configure it to any unusual processes that you might have inside your organization. However, if you just need a very vanilla sales process to help you get started, to help you start logging leads in, it's £20 per user per month. If you want to do some automation on top of that, it's another £20 per user per month. That allows you to build sales funnels where it checks for situations and creates tasks and things like that if you don't get responses in time. You can also take it further and invest in their Einstein features. That's Einstein's their AI capabilities, and that does things like the lead scoring, the approach recommendations, and the relationship monitoring. That does add quite a substantial cost. That's an extra £100 per month per user. So not necessarily something that you might invest in at the very beginning of your CRM journey. But if your average deal size is more than £100, you only need to make one more deal for Einstein to have paid for itself. So these costs might seem a little much, but they're all about removing leaks from your pipeline and making your pipeline far higher converting and getting you far more value out of the tools that you're using. There is also marketing automation capabilities. So that's things like closer to the outbound prospecting funnels, automated responses on Twitter, things like that, email, blogging, landing pages, form routing, stuff like that. On Salesforce, that's a flat fee of £1,000 per month. So that's useful if you've got quite a scaling marketing function, but not necessary if you're trying to focus on your sales team first. Dynamics 365 is Microsoft's offering in the CRM space, but it isn't just customer relationship management. So you can actually consolidate a lot of your business operations into the single platform. That has a number of advantages, like data all being in one place, being able to gain insights from far more sources, and being able to simplify where you go to find some data. So it can reduce the total cost of ownership of your kind of managing your business. But it can be a little bit daunting when a tool can do so much to try and get started. So Business Central is the small medium business operations center. You can use it to import your bank feeds, do reconciliations, manage your inventory, all sorts like that. You can plug in or buy standalone their sales tooling, which is £50 per user per month approximately, and their sales insights is £40 per user per month. So you get automation out of the box with the Sales Pro, and then their insight again covers some pretty similar stuff to what the Salesforce piece does. Microsoft have also just announced today a really interesting AI tool that'll help retail businesses manage their environments and physical spaces. So it's called the Connected Store. And we covered a bit of this with Matthew McDonald Wallace in our last webinar series, AI Fights Back, on how IoT and sensors are going to be important in managing retail and workspaces for safety in what really isn't going to be a post-COVID world. It's going to be the new normal, as new normal being the new buzzword for this new way that we're going to have to do things. So if you've got a retail space as well, so you might be B2C, or you might have offices and things, the connected store aspect is also a very interesting and compelling piece that we maybe need to be thinking about. HubSpot started out as a marketing CRM. It is a lovely piece of kit. We use HubSpot inside our business as well as Dynamics. We use it primarily for marketing. However, its sales functionality is really useful as well. Their starter level on sales is £42 per month. That gets you some sales automation, and some of the advanced tiers enable more sophisticated automations and production of quotes and things like that. Their marketing automation piece is £655 per month. HubSpot is a good tool for small businesses to be able to get started with quickly. A new contender that is on our radar and we're starting to learn a lot more about is a solution called Fresh Sales. This is very heavily focused on sales and puts a lot of the AI and automation in by default. So it's doing the lead scoring, it's grabbing details and helping you get the right approach. And this starts at £30 per user per month. So depending on how big an initiative, how big your digital requirements are, something like Dynamics, which can spread across your entire organization and help everybody work from a seamless data platform, through to wanting just to excel at sales, there's a wide range of choices out there. Not every CRM is going to be good at automation. Very few CRMs are actually doing the sales AI pieces, but hopefully the 4 that I've covered today give you a starting place for thinking about how you can add automation and AI into your existing solutions, or if you don't already have a CRM, helps you shortlist for making an educated decision. So what next for people interested in learning more about automation and AI, particularly if you're in a kind of a front of house sales type of role? We have another 3 webinars. So to date, we have covered social media listening and the fundamentals of automation, as well as sales automation today. We're bringing in how to kind of process invoices and support finance departments. We're looking at FAQ chatbots to help reduce load on sales teams. And we'll be going into more information about how you can make your meetings more accessible, multicultural, and more productive in terms of generating outputs. You can register for any of our upcoming webinars on nightingalehq.eventbrite.com, and we always put a blog post with the webinar, video, slides, and any relevant links on blog.nightingalehq.ai. We've got content there around chatbots, AI for marketers. We look at, on the blog, there's more information about sales AI and what that means for sales teams. We've got retail, manufacturing, healthcare specific pieces so that you can understand not just how this impacts the sales team, but the wider organization. So there's plenty of further content that is available for you. And finally, if automation is of interest and you can start seeing how it might add value to your business, at Nightingale HQ, we have an Innovate UK funded project where we have 6 tools that you can use to start doing automation and AI inside your business without needing any technical support to get started. You can go to gosmarter.ai to get on the waitlist. We're launching first with social media listening to help you find positive and negative mentions about your business on the internet. We'll be releasing a tool per week using as many free or very cheap solutions as possible. And one of the tools that we'll be releasing is our recommended CRM and setup guide. So if you do not have a CRM at present, we will be working on content and helping shape that decision and making it really easy for you to get started in less than 30 minutes. So if that's of interest, hop on to gosmarter.ai, sign up for the waitlist, and we'll give you some more information. And as soon as you can start taking advantage of the tools, we'll let you know. Also, do hit us up on Twitter. We're always very keen to get into discussions about what sales in a modern digital space looks like. We're always trying to get better at it ourselves, and we love automation and AI and enabling people to use it to make their day better. So thank you all very much for coming along today. And I believe we have some time for questions.
It's fair to say, Steph, just from my own perspective with the CRM, that a CRM system is a longer term investment for a company as well. So that's where costs come up, because it's this tool that you more or less depend on, the more it integrates itself into your sales process and your organization.
Very much so. I had a consultancy client a few years back who wanted to become more data science driven, and part of the thing that came up in that was they had a lot of struggle with their sales team not being able to say what next month's consultancy teams would need to be doing work-wise. So they had as a consultancy that was rapidly growing, had substantial investment behind them, their sales team, which didn't have much of a process and had a CRM but weren't really using it, whilst they were bringing in money for the company, they were making it quite difficult for the company to scale effectively. So I ended up kind of helping them answer the question, should they get rid of their existing CRM and use Dynamics or Salesforce? Ultimately, the answer wasn't there was a new tool that you should be investing in, but using the tool that they had more effectively. So we implemented, the biggest benefit I added to that was giving the head of sales a book to read on solution selling. And we worked together to implement what the pipeline, what the steps that a deal goes through for that consultancy, putting in some probabilities that deal would go through, setting up likely close dates and things like that, what types of resources might be involved. And as a result, the CFO was super happy, as was the kind of operations team, because now the salespeople were directly contributing to what the whole company would need to function like, because they were more sensibly using their tool. They also found that they increased their conversion and made more sales, because they were now going through this repeatable, consistent customer and onboarding experience. So they had less dropouts because they failed to follow up. Everybody got a top quality proposal and things like that. And the CRM was instrumental in that as kind of the enabler for them to do things. The tool, whichever CRM it was, wouldn't really matter. It was how they were using it that really counted.
Okay, well, I think we're all okay here. We can close it off, and thank you everyone for attending. Thank you, Steph.
Thank you very much, folks. Hopefully see you next week.